All right. Just going to go through these definitions. First one says an angle is a figure created by two distinct rays that share a common endpoint that is also known as the vertex. And if you look up here, you see the different ways we can name an angle. Angle ABC, angle B, and angle CBA are all the same thing. What is the important point when we're talking about an angle? What's the most important point? Which is the what? Which is what?
The endpoint.
The vertex. The vertex is the important one. All right. The one that's in the middle is the vertex. That's the important point. The others can switch and doesn't matter. And I'll talk about when you can use one letter and when you can use three letters here in a second. Angle of rotation, obviously, is the amount of rotation in degrees of a figure by a fixed point, such as the origin. Bisect or bisector. Do we know what bisect means? What? All right, what does it mean? Two. So when you bisect, that's cut. You're cutting it into two equal parts. So a point, line, or line segment that divides a segment or angle into two equal parts. So anytime we ever hear bisector, we're automatically thinking what? More than that. Two what?
Parts.
More than just two parts.
Two line segments. Two angles.
Equal parts. Two equal parts. The equal is extremely important. Because we can cut something and it's not going to be two equal parts. Bisector is two equal parts. Circle is the set of all points equidistant. Do we know what that means? Equidistant.
Equidistant.
E-Q-U-I. Do we know what that means? Equidistant.
It's like same distance apart.
Same distance. The equal is basically equal. That's the same distance apart. Congruent. Having the same size, shape, and measure. Having the same size, shape, and measure. And you normally see that little symbol, the little equal with the little squiggly line above it. That just means congruent. I would hope we would know that already, but make sure I say it. Corresponding angles, angles that have the same relative position. And this will make more sense when we get to it in a little while. They're in the same, is it saying they are in the same spot? No. But if one of them is on top of a line, then the other one's got to be on top of the line. That's what it's talking about. Corresponding sides, sides that have the same relative position there. All right, next one, endpoint, the point at each end of a line segment. So, line segment has the start and the stop, two endpoints. The ray is going to have one endpoint and the other go forever. Image is the result of a transformation. So the image is the second version. Intersection, point at which two or more lines obviously intersect, or touch, hit, whatever. Isometry, a distance preserving map of a geometric figure to another location using, there's three choices here. Rotation, reflection,
Transformation.
or translation. and then blank indicates an isometry of the figure M to a new location M prime, it would look like this. They draw an arrow, so what it's saying is M is moving to M prime by whatever you did to it. When it says a distance preserving map, do we understand what that means?
It makes it where you don't have to have like a big graph or something. So you just show one picture and then show this.
All right, let me ask you this. Is that distance preserving? Are the distances the same on those two? Yeah.
Measurement line.
This part right here, from there to there is the same as that.
So the shape stays.
This, that, and that. The shape stays the same. Would this be distance preserving? No, because I changed the size of it.
Dilation, or
So,
whatever it's called.
an isometry, it's going to stay the same, it's just going to move. We're going to get to the dilation stuff in a little while. All right, line, one of the undefined terms of geometry, represents an infinite set of points with, should I say this right? No thickness. And its length continues in two opposite directions. Indefinitely. So what does that say?
Yeah, infinite.
If it goes indefinitely, what does that mean?
It never ends.
Yeah, it goes forever, it never ends. All right. When we write a line, excuse me, not a line segment, we do the arrows over the letters. Now, I say AB. Could I say BA? Would they be the same thing? Line AB and line BA. Yeah, those are the same line. It's just a matter of which way you want to go. Any questions there? We got it. All right, line segment, a part of a line between two endpoints. Or 2 points, I guess would just be part of a line between 2 points on the line. And if I wanted to label it, I would say AB or BA. Now, on a line segment, you can just put the letters, and that'll work, or you can put the little line segment thing above it. Either one is fine. If you just put 2 letters, you're automatically talking about a line segment. Or if you put the little line segment symbol above it, that'll do it too. Parallel lines. What do we know about parallel lines?
They're always equal. Like they're always the same distance apart.
Which means they never
Touch.
They do not intersect. They do not intersect, do not touch. All right, and if you ever see this, all right, what does that mean right there? Line AB
That's infinite.
is parallel to line CD. Those 2 little slashes, if you see those, that means parallel. So this right here is saying line AB is parallel to line CD. All right. What does perpendicular lines mean? There. People normally want to say they touch, they hit, they intersect, but it's more than that. They form right angles. 2 lines form right angles. And if you want to draw like we did up here saying AB is parallel to CD, I would say AB is perpendicular to CD. We use that little upside down T to mean perpendicular. Alright, point, one of the basic undefined terms of geometry that represents a location. A dot is used to symbolize it. and it's thought of having no length, width, or thickness. Now it says an undefined term. When it says that, it means it doesn't have a quote unquote definition, but we can still describe it and talk about it. Kind of like line a minute ago. Point, line, and plane are the three undefined terms, but you can still describe them and talk about what they are. All right, pre-image. Pre means what? Before. So a figure before a transformation that's taken place. A ray is a part of the line that begins at a point and does what? What does a ray do? Goes forever. What?
Continues.
One direction. Goes forever in one direction. And the way to write it is that right there. Ray AB. Now, we talked about line. Can I do that like I did with a line? Are these two things the same? Ray AB and Ray BA? Yes, no, maybe? All right, let me ask you this. Does this look the same as this? No. Those are not the same. These are two different things, so you cannot switch it around like you could a line or a line segment. It's got to be specific. Reflection. Transformation of a figure that creates a mirror image or flips over a line. A reflection line, or a line of reflection, line that acts as a mirror so that the corresponding parts are the same distance. Rotation, obviously the transformation that rotates a figure about a fixed point through a given angle, a given direction, such as 90 degrees clockwise. We'll get into all that in a little while. Transformation is the mapping or movement of all points. What does a translation do?
Okay, you can move it up, down, side to side.
So what does that do? What's it called?
Sliding.
Slide. We can move left, right, up or down. We slide that figure whichever direction we need to slide it. Vertex is the location in which two lines, line segments or rays intersect. All right, I want to be able to name these in all possible ways. If it's an angle, like number one, that one right there has three different choices that I can use. Somebody give me one of them.
M, N, O.
All right, do the little angle symbol, and then MNO would work. What's another one? Angle N would work, and then
Oh, wait, angle O-N-M.
ONM. Any of those three would work. Again, what's the important part?
What do you mean by that?
The vertex. N has to be in the middle every time. N is the vertex. That has to go in the middle. If that goes in the middle, you should be okay. The safest way to do these is to name it with three letters every time. You can use one letter if it's the only angle there. Does that make sense? There's only one angle that I'm looking at right there. So if I say angle N, everybody should know where I'm talking about. When we get to number 5, that's going to be different. All right, what about number 2? What is it, first of all? It's a ray. So, is it ray AB or ray BA? Why is it BA? Well, I would say end point is the end point has to go first. End point on array has to go first. So in this case, it has to be BA. You could not do AB on that. All right. Number 3. What are we looking at? So line segment, it could be what? Or I could do with the little symbol above it. Any of those would work. I don't care which way you do it, doesn't matter to me. All right, number 4. What is it? And label it CD, line CD, or line DC. Number 5. First of all, do we understand how many angles are up there? How many angles do you see right there? 3. You got the little one here, number 1. You got the little number 2, and then you got the whole thing number 3. We need to be able to see that now. So if I said angle 1, what letters work for angle 1? Say again? Angle DGE would work. If I want to do angle 2, it would be angle. And if I do angle 3, it would be. Or. I hope that's what I heard. Now, what is the problem with number 1? I said angle N. What is the problem with saying angle G on number 5?
You have 2 separate angles.
I don't have 2 separate angles, I have 3. If you say angle G, I don't know if you're talking about 1, 2, or 3. It could be any of them. So if there's any question about what the angle is, you have to use 3 letters. So like number 5, you've got to use 3 letters every time you talk about an angle there. Number 1, you could get by with doing the 1 letter. Do we see the difference on those? We need to.